Welcome back to Timberborn and our Emberpelts series. We are now 40 days into our 130-day drought. We still have pretty much completely full water stores because we're only using water for irrigation. I have also put in now, I believe, all of the power cross connects and all of the water wheels. There is a slight chance we have missed some. You can also see that I have deleted the control towers in preparation for putting in levels 3 and 4. We have a ground floor, so that will give us 5 levels. What we need to do before we activate this is connect up the first 3 sets of wheels, which we are going to do today. And what I'm going to do is pretty simply come in here, come here, and this is update 6, remember, so we don't have the new power connections available to us. But actually what we need to do before we do anything like that is grab a power shaft and come there. So I don't forget, we're going to go there, we're going to delete that piece of path, and we're going to come there, and then what do we have in the way of power connections? I mean, I guess we're going to have to use that one. Or we could use the T, and then we delete the workshop, the builder's hut. I think that makes sense, actually. Yep. We then go up. We can then use this guy. We then go up, and we then go to there. Hopefully they can build all of that, and that will connect all 3 stacks up. And we will then ultimately want to connect it out to the outside world, and by outside world I mean to the power grid. The nearest connection to our power grid is all the way over here, so we have a bit of work to do there. That is okay. It's probably down here. Don't want to delete that, so maybe we go in the back of this water pump. I kind of like that you can do this kind of thing. So let's do that. They will need access to be able to build all of that. So if we put a set of, it might need 2 because that's technically more. That's technically 3 high. So, but we'll get them to build that, and then we'll run a connection out of the reservoir. We'll go via this, which is going to be useful. And that might almost be worth putting in another mechanical pump to do the power transfer. Yeah. So let's stick that on 3 times, and I'll be back in 1 moment. Right, let's speed things up a little bit, get this built, and then we can turn this thing on and see how much power it generates, which is what we've all been waiting for, isn't it? I guess it's worth reminding folks that we currently only have a 2 CMS water source. So it's not going to be the final form of power generation, but it's going to give us some level of continuous power generation. So, and we're only 3/5 or 60% of our water wheels. So, yeah. But we are about to approach phase 1. So let's come down here. All the way down. Let's open up this. Let's come here. Let's make sure that that is open. It is. Make sure that that is open. It is. And then we wait, which might take a while. Because we've got to fill this whole column up before we start to get things turning. So that's connected. So we've got a path there we can make use of. That's been built. So let's run a power shaft over here. And then go up there and connect in to there. And I suspect we are going to need to run a path out there. Probably a ladder there. We will then come across here. So we're going to make that a T-junction. We'll connect through there. Can reach that. Awesome. Let's just have a quick peek at this. We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. I'm just going to slow it down. Stretch out your enjoyment. And hook that up through there. And then we've only got to make that connection. So, which means we can do something like bring a path along there, out there, there, and then we'll be able to do something. So, and just in time, we'll go on triple speed because there's still an awful lot to do. But if I come... Oh, that doesn't look good. Why are we not spinning? Oh, damn you. That very last one of those. Oh, darn it. Fell at the final hurdle. Come on, get this built. So if we go here, we can see this this number ramping up. There we go. So then we come across and connect to here. And then we should be all connected up. Hopefully I didn't miss any others. And here we go as we work our way round the very slow process. Let's go on times 10, shall we? Because this will take a while to fill up with only 2 CMS. So. But it might be worth us while we wait giving the builders something to do in the form of a power line that runs like that. So we are up to 10,000 HP, which I think is... So currently we consume 6,000, so we've already exceeded our current power consumption. So yeah, we're probably okay. Let's get this guy set up while we wait, shall we? Advanced, attached to stream gauge. You pause if below 1%, unpause if above 2%. And that's the first row spinning. And part of the second row spinning. There are some that aren't turning. That's absolutely fine. It's just where the flow is dropping through. Not worried about that. We are not... I don't think we're getting any fall through, which is good. Because we're not seeing any of the bottom ones spinning prematurely. So, yeah. As it spins up, we are now 30,000 HP. And remember, so we're only putting 2 CMS through this at the moment. So, yep. And this is going to be continuous power flow. So, we will now be good for power forever. We do have a problem with bot parts. So, or bot assemblers. Depends which way you look at it. So we do need to start looking at expanding our logistics. And we now have the power for it. So it's a good thing. We have lots of power available. We will be able to... so I think the next phase is we will set up, and I'll probably do it between videos because it's going to be a pain in the butt. That's not a pain in the butt. It's just going to be a bit boring. I will set up the next 2 layers because that's easy. And I'll low prioritize the build of that. And I'm hoping what I can do is put some bridges high enough over all of it so that I can put everything in and they can just build the whole lot. Yeah, no flooding issues, and we just need to wait for them to get to the very end. What we haven't done, which is not an issue at the moment, and currently we don't have access, but we will need to take that out. Now they can get to some of it from above, which is good. And they get to that one, they can. We didn't put in the... Actually, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. What we want to do... and it's kind of a good job that we're only putting a little bit of flow through this, I guess. Let's turn that around. Nothing like a bit of last minute building, is there? So, you. We forgot the ears to handle the unfolding, but it's okay because we're only putting a very little bit of water through it at the moment, so really shouldn't be an issue. which means I can actually put that wheel back in. Yeah. Cool. Not the worst thing in terms of forgetting to build things. No overspill. That's sitting there, which is fine. We might do some landscaping to guide that way off the map. And we are generating 45,000 HP. It always drops back down, which I find really weird. Is it kind of peaks and troughs, I guess? How far is it going to drop back down, I guess, is the question. So we'll leave that to sit for a moment whilst we look at connecting to the outside world. I'm not going to delete that overhang because we've got other stuff on it. Or actually we could, because we don't necessarily need that builder's hut there. We could always rebuild the stuffs to have that there. So let's go to normal triple speed, shall we? And there we go. So I want that facing that way. And then a tower of those up to there. Put that on the top. Get rid of that. Let's run that through there, that there, that there, and that should sort that. We could also put dams across there, so that actually an interesting block. And I guess we've sort of got it, but not in the way that I would like it. We sort of have. Yeah, I could put sluices here and have them open if the water wasn't contaminated, but we'll use dams because basically what I want to do is encourage this to go the other way. We will just pause that one, delete that one, because I think we need to block down here as well. So we'll... it looks like we need to go across there. Let's do that. We will need access, so let's put in a ladder. It's all bots, so it doesn't matter that there's bad water down there. There we go. And so we've dropped quite a long way, which is kind of weird because you'd think the water flow would be more stable, but I'm happy with that for where the amount of flow we're putting in at the moment. It's going to power our entire colony, and we are only at IOC, so yeah. We are going to recharge all of our thingies. Thingies is a technical term, by the way, in case you know, not all of you are engineers, so you might not understand the technical term thingy. I understand that. So if we block that off, what we actually needed to do was not build where I've built that, he says as he brags about being an engineer, is actually go across there. Yeah, that's where I needed to put it. And then basically if it gets higher, because we've got more flow, because it's like a good tide, a temperate season, I guess we call it, it'll flow through. But this, and I guess a bad tide might cause us issues. We'll see, we'll see. But what I want to try and do is direct it away from the colony. And this should let us do that, because at the moment it's just filling this up. Yeah, we need to leave that at the moment. Get that built and come pick those up. I mean, technically, which as I always say is the best kind of correct, we don't necessarily, no, we don't need to delete the ladder, we can just put the dam there, but we do need to wait for them to have cleaned all this up. Except they don't seem to think they have space for it, so let's just come in here, delete that, delete that and the path. Going to delete the rubble as well, delete that path, put in the dam there, and that should direct our little bit of flow out of this, but this is going to increase obviously when we get in here and get access to these. So yeah, get that done, please. Someone to come build it. You, awesome. Job's good. Alright. Path can go away. Path can go away. Path there can go. Path there can go. Path there can go. And let's hook her up. So it seems to have stabilised at about 34,000 HP, which is way more than we need. So if we go this side now, there we go. Problem solved for power. So these should all, in fact, we don't need those. Those are essentially a power drain. So let's get rid of those. Yep. I mean, actually, we could get rid of... Let me select what I want to grab, which is all of those. I'll leave those two because they're kind of acting as a connection. But yeah, unlimited power. Awesome. Right. So I think the next thing that we should look at as I drop my mouse, and I am very aware that I don't have a huge amount of time today. So if you watched previous recent videos, still have Orly Puppy Probably the next thing we should think about doing is, in this district, I think, is some land reclamation. And I think this area is a good candidate. We have shown that having this closed off is not an issue for the flow of the water system. So let's double down on that and actually used to bug me so much when my daughter would say, "Is it actually that?" rather than it being pretend that. It's not what she meant, but it was part of the process of learning to be a parent. Spread out again. That should let them build all of that. We should put in an industrial pile there for dirt set to obtain, and I am going to prioritize the build of that. I'm going to use the tool though, so they prioritize the stuff under it as well. So that will let us reclaim a bunch of land so we can expand the industry that we need to expand in that district. I feel that potentially this district could do with an expansion as well. And maybe this area is the place to do that. Access might be tricky. They could get to it from there, actually. So, and it would be really nice if we had the overhanging terrain, but we do not. I need to be careful, actually, that I don't reduce that too much. So I think we will do that and rely on just increasing the rest of that. And then maybe if we need more, we will use the overhangs. Hopefully, I'm not going to regret this. I mean, it's going through, it's not too much of a width reduction. So one or level. There we go. How are we going to get them to that? What we could do is delete those, which is going to make them all unhappy. But if we high prioritize that, we could then do that. And I mean, if we did that, they could then build a bunch of that, and then we could put stuff in to get them down there. So yeah, let's do that. Yeah. That will have, I'm going to say those busy for a while, but clearly not. We do need a power connection, so I thought there is that we come here we come here, and I think yep, we can tap there. That'll get us power. If we swap that for a ladder, then they'll be able to get to the top of that to build it. Because currently we're sending them a really long way around. There we go. But yeah, that means they can get to the top of that to build that. That's all getting built. I mean, equally, you could say that we could do the same over here. And probably we could extend it as well. You could say that, and you probably wouldn't be wrong for saying that. I would never say that one of my viewers is wrong. How dare you think that? And if you know me at all, you would know that I'm also rather sarcastic sometimes. I appreciate you all. Let's do that. That's going to give us a lot more space. We want to come up here, get rid of that, because if I click on here, we've very quickly refilled the log storage in this district, which makes me think that we should, given that we are giving ourselves a little bit of a breather, 2, 3, you are going to be logs. We're going to prioritize the build of you. You're going to be set to supply. We're going to come over to this district. This district is also full on its ability to store logs. And that says to me we probably should just be exporting them, which we are. But we could also take advantage of our little transfer hub. And I know it's not a huge amount of storage, but it's a bit more storage. So let's do that. Get to all of those. They can. Awesome. And then if we come to this district, which is one of our big log producers, this is also full, but we have access to lots of space up here. So we could, especially if we fill in this storage underground pile, 1, 2, 3, 4 logs, supply. I wish you could do that, the supply obtain and empty from the tab menu as well. Yep. So that will let them keep cutting trees down. Oh, we never finished building this. That's embarrassing, isn't it? If we wait a little while between clicks, hopefully they can do it in one go without getting stuck. We do have Unstuckify though, so it should be less of a problem. There we go. No, not you. Not you. There. Yeah. And then we'll do... Do we need a fluid dump? We want a stream gauge. Have a fluid dump, we need access. So if we do that, then we might as well do that. And then we can do a path like that. Attach to there. We will pause if above there. We will unpause if below there. And if they get that built, there we go. And yeah, you can be a beaver. Awesome. Alright, let's clear that out. So that's all built. That's getting done. We never prioritised you by haulers. We should probably do that. Awesome. I'm kind of tempted to throw in another mechanical fluid pump there, and then if we delete the path under it, it will be able to pump out. Do again, attach to stream gauge, pause below 1%, unpause above 2%. And yeah, if we delete the path, that will drop down and that will do its thing. And yeah, we have so much power now that we can run plenty of these, which is good. Our battery charge is full and will likely stay full now for as long as we continue playing. So that's almost in. We have a power connection down to it. Tempted to get rid of that little growth. We don't need you anymore, which means we can put in a faster access from here. Which will be good. Because I'm thinking we put some more bot assembly stuff down here. There we go, look at that. Cutting down all of the trees, replanting all of the trees. They've already nearly filled those, so let's actually just keep doubling down on that. And build some more of them. Yes, we will probably empty them really quickly once we get into sort of hardcore building again. But if we've got trees standing, we should make storage so that they can be cut down. Is my view, and we've got a lot of trees standing, so kind of the same over here. Annoyingly, we just don't really have access to spots that we can put in loads of storage. So these guys are getting these built, which is good. I guess we could. This is District 1 still, isn't it? In a weird twist. So what we could do is delete those. And we could put some log storage all the way over here. Yes, it's a long way. But, do you know, that would work. I really should have those set. We could probably save a lot of resources. I say resources like power, not resources. And probably bots, actually. Right. So, do we, for the last little bit of today's video, come in here. Let's do that. Let's then delete you and you. Science. Bot part factories. Can we double stack them under there? Oh, we can. 2, 3, 5, 6. And that gives us a little corner to bring power like that, which is great. We're going to do stairs there and there. We're going to do platforms all the way along. We're going to do paths like that. And we're going to do bots, obviously. My understanding is that happens when they get built when they're not connected to a district. So you be limbs, chassis, heads, and then storage for planks, beams and gears. So we will do the larger piles. It would have made sense if I did the intermediate level as well, wouldn't it? But I wasn't sensible, so we'll do that and that, and then we can do that. Actually, no, we're going to do that and that, to that and that, so they can get access from both levels. Obtain planks, obtain. And then we need gears, and we could put prioritized by haulers. Prioritized by haulers. Do I just put a storage, or do I do that? I do 2 medium gear stores like that, and then what we could do is control tower, and actually that'd hit a bunch of that stuff as well. Actually, a lot of that's possibly covered anyway, but I don't think that would be a bad idea. We'll throw a actually, screw it. Let's do another stack of ladders on the end. You get path. Thank you. And we can get that built. We don't need more assemblers at the moment, but if we do, we will put them in. We do need storage for all of the parts. I hadn't forgotten what they go in. Nope, 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 nope. That was you. 1, 2, 3. There. Limbs, supply. Chassis, supply. Heads, supply. In theory, we're not building any more bots. Well, we are, but we're just supplying the components for more bots. We've already got the manufacture, if that makes sense. So probably the other things we should put in are a tank for fuel and a tank for lube. Prioritize that by haulers. Prioritize that by haulers. And that should help out with our shortage of bot parts. And if we find we're running low on any of the, like we're a bit low on gears, then we can address that. So maybe, because I can see that already, we would be sensible to throw in a gear workshop straight away. And we've got space just about up there to put in a large gear workshop. will hopefully help. And if we need to, we could put one next door to it as well. But we'll just try and keep an eye on things. I'm almost tempted to straight away double down on that, actually. And get that in there. And get that built. And that probably means it would be sensible. We've got plank storage there anyway, so we're fine. Yeah. I think given that the gears are seeming to drop, it's sensible to increase our ability to produce gears. And hopefully that will resolve that, because they're going down at quite a rate. Planks seem to be holding steady. Metal seems to be holding at full. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on everything now over the next video, and see what else we need to expand industry wise. Thinking about the Wonder, which needs, we have this open, planks, metal beams, bricks and gears. So I think we're going to want to increase production of all of those, which we can use this space to do, because we're going to be using planks, logs, metal beams to get this finished up. It makes sense to start massively increasing our ability to produce the things that we need. So I think between videos, I will lay out the next two levels. You know what they're going to look like anyway. And I'll deprioritize it so that they work on that slowly in the background. I'll show you what it looks like when we come back anyway. And then as our focus, we will expand our industrial production. Just unpause one of these to start pumping some of this out. We might as well get it into storage. We'll have another part on well-being, I think. And this district will start working over towards bringing in more flow as well to increase the power production. But that is it for today, folks. So hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members, and I will see you next time.